What's up, guys?
Hey, happy Monday!
Rob and Melissa with Flip Market Flipper.
How's it going?
Jump to get back to the live this week, or super excited to get back to the live this week and talk about some scammers out there.
Preventing scams on eBay. So preventing scammers by buyers on eBay.
That's right.
So we're going to jump into that a little bit because it's a concern that a lot of people have.
It is. Like. We do get questions, and we get some. Even just today, somebody in our group had some issues with something that was returned.
Damaged.
Damaged, not in the same condition that it was shipped. So
we're going to talk about that.
We will be talking about that. But before we do that, we'll let some people get on. Talk about some of our sales this week. Had another decent week for sales.
You had your encoders that you flipped.
So the encoders that we had, small. I actually still have 3 more of them, but we sold 2 of these bad boys.
Now you've had them for a little while.
We have. We've had those encoders for what it is something to have to do with a wind turbine. I don't know exactly what it does or anything about it. Like a lot of the stuff that I sell, but we got a good deal on it.
As long as you do the research, you don't have to know everything about it.
Exactly. So these were actually, I think we paid $5 for these a piece, and they retail on them was something ridiculous, like $2,500, $3,500. Super expensive part. I'm trying to get out of the box so I can show you guys what it looks like, because I have no idea, and you can't really see it well. I have no idea what the heck it is, but I did the research. It has a part number and stuff on the box. So we bought 5 of them originally, sold 2 of them, have had them for over 4 years. That we did not, I put them on a shelf, we listed them. I actually listed them a lot higher originally. I think I had them for close to $2,000.
Which was half a retail, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I listed them half a retail, and then I actually dropped them down to see if I could get them sold. And it's still, they never sold until the right person needed them. So I probably lost out on some money on these just because I sold them for $400 a piece. And we probably could have got a lot more when the right person bought these 2 that we sold last week. He probably would have paid a lot more money for them than he did because he found them on here instead of having it by retail.
Had them for a while.
We have had them for a while. So like I said, but some of our stuff, we price it really, really well. When the right person sees it, it doesn't really matter on the price. As long as you're under what retail is, half of what retail is, or something like that, then you're going to make money. They're going to buy it from you versus going and spending that extra 50% to spend it on retail and buying at retail. So that's what a lot of people do. That's what I do when I have to buy something. I jump on eBay, jump on Amazon, see if I can find it cheaper than I can locally at retail or anything like that. So like I said, that's the killer sale. We made over $800 on both of those, $400 a piece, $410 for.
And you only had $5 invested in each of them, which was nice. And so they don't take up a lot of room. No. They're small.
That's another question. We did a podcast interview this week with ChooseFi, and he had asked me that too. Is there anything that we've had, over a year? And I do have some things, but when it's that big and it takes the right buyer to find that and pay for it, it's worth it for me to throw it on a shelf and just forget about it until it does sell. So we have the other 3. Maybe this guy that bought the 2 will buy these other 3 because they're such a good deal. Maybe he'll come back in this week and buy the other 3. I have no idea. But when the right person sees them, they'll snatch it up quick. Didn't ask me any questions or anything like that. They just bought them. So that was one of our sales this week.
I sold my my Goodwill find.
Her Goodwill find
for is a pressure, not a pressure cooker, pressure something. Yeah, like a pressure. What is it? Pressure cooker. Not
it's a cooker, but
it's not a cooker. It's it looks like a microwave. But anyways, so I bought it for $15 and sold it for $150. So
nice.
That was a nice deal. So
killer deal.
Yeah. So
excited about that as well. So and while we're on here, guys, we're talking about scammer buyers that try to scam the sellers. For this week, that's what we're going over. Throw any questions you have in the chat. Let us know anything that we're talking about. Any questions that you guys have or when you want to discuss about this, please throw it in the chat while we're talking. Love to get your guys' questions answered and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
Renee says hi.
What's up?
Glad you're on here, Renee. And Jane says, "Ooh, scammers, especially on OfferUp and Let Go apps. Yeah, we can. We'll chat about those in a minute. So for sure. And we wanted to give a shout out. So
Terrence.
Terrence had his first freight shipment.
Awesome, Terrence, you rock, man. Great.
Sold it for $1,200.
Great job. Sold that double. I think it was double oven, correct?
Yeah, and shipped it out yesterday
for $1,200. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
So
cool. Congrats.
Yeah. So do you want to dive in?
Let's dive in.
All right. So we're talking about how to prevent being scammed by your buyer. So everybody on here is a reseller. We want to not be able to get scammed by our buyers. So there are ways to prevent it. So one of the biggest ones to help to start is take pictures of everything.
Yeah.
Take good pictures of your item and
document
your listing, obviously. That's a given. And then take pictures of your whole packaging process. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
No, definitely. You want to document everything. You want to have proof of everything. If you do have to file an insurance claim, have to fight something on eBay if somebody tries to return something that's not as the same as you shipped it. You want to have documents on all that stuff. You always have your listing with all the pictures in it, but at the same time, we document exactly how we're shipping something, how we're boxing it up, the bubble wrap that we're using, when we're setting it in the box, if we're throwing peanuts on top of it. We want to document all that stuff so you have that documentation if you do have to go back and go further if something happens in shipping or by the buyer themselves. If something happens, if they take a part off the item and then try to return it back, you want to have all that proof before you ship something out.
And I was going to say, you don't have to keep those on your phone all the time either. Like, you don't have to keep those for years. So keep them for, 60 days and then, you can get rid of them. Or you can keep them in a file for a little while longer and then get rid of them or on a cloud or something. But you can just put them in their own spot so you don't have to hoard up your phone with pictures too. So just to keep everything a little more organized. And we've used those pictures a couple times. So we've definitely had to give those into claims and stuff. So another one is never go outside of PayPal or eBay payments.
This is huge too, guys. You might have people email you and say, hey, I want to send your cashier's check for the price. I'm going to have somebody come and pick it up. They're not even going to buy it through eBay, but they're going to do that kind of stuff. Don't ever go outside of eBay on a transaction, especially if you're new. Don't do that, and make sure all your transactions are going through eBay for the sale. Make sure your payments are going through eBay unless they're meeting you in person and paying you cash. At that point, you want to use eBay's new system for local pickup to where they're taking their phone and I think they scan it on your phone.
A QR code that you'll get after the transaction or after they purchase it.
So you definitely want to make sure you're doing that for local pickup. But everything else that you sell on eBay, make sure the transaction's going through eBay and the payments are going through either PayPal or managed payment through eBay. You want to do that to protect yourself. That's the safest thing that you can do when you're doing the sales, for sure.
And if you're a new seller, you're going to get messages from a lot of people to try to get you. Like, that's the easiest way to identify somebody trying to scam you is okay, well, I can't. First of all, they offer you more than what the item is. That's one signal right there. And then they want to pay you outside of eBay, or outside of PayPal. So those are the two big flags. You don't want to mess with that. So you kind of know it's a scam. And if you have less than 10 feedback, you're prime target for those. So you might get a lot of them, but as you build your feedback up, they'll get less and less. And you'll still get them a couple here and there, but they'll get a lot less and less. So, right. So, and another one.
Just be aware of those for sure.
Another one is to make sure you deliver to a confirmed address. So, and that kind of goes along with people wanting to, if people are going to prey on you because you're a new seller, they might say they want to pay with this and then send it to this address. So I don't know if you know about that.
And we've had this happen in the past. For us, if somebody tells me, hey, they give me a story of why they need it shipped to a different address, typically, as long as your communication is going through eBay, so eBay they're the third party watching the transaction happen and the corresponding back and forth. I have shipped it to different addresses than the confirmed address on PayPal. When in the past it's been PayPal, but now eBay management has their own confirmed address for the user. But if they do that, I wouldn't totally discount it as fraud. I would call eBay up, get eBay on the phone and say, hey, I have a buyer asking me to send it to a different address. You can see eBay can go in right there and look at your messages, and they can decide right there, hey, you can go ahead and ship it to these people. We have a record of it. So if anything happens and you have the confirmation that gets delivered to that address, you're going to be covered by seller's protection. So you definitely want to always run, if anything doesn't feel right, get eBay on the phone, talk to them and just verify that everything's okay. Get the rep's name that you're using, rep ID, any of that kind of stuff. Use that. Make sure you have a note of that. That they say, it's okay to do it. Then go ahead and get their rep ID, rep name, and then go ahead and proceed with it. But you always want to call eBay. They're the ones who are going to have the final say on every transaction that happens if there's problems. So you want to get their blessing on it pretty much before you do it. So if you do that, like I said, a ton of times we've actually shipped to a different address because of whatever the reason was. People moved, they didn't change their address and that kind of thing.
And that happens,
And it does happen. So you can do it, but like I said, before you do it, always call eBay first, verify that you're going to be protected, and then go ahead and move forward with it after they say, yes, you're protected, you're all right.
And you already said this too, but make sure everything goes through eBay,
Yep,
like
all
their messages.
corresponding.
Don't ever go
Correspondence.
outside of eBay for messages, because they can look at your whole conversation and go back, and that's what you can use in a case if you need to. So make sure that you do that. We had a couple questions. How long after the sale do you keep the pictures? We actually have a iCloud. We have a storage on there that we just upload everything, so we don't really delete them that much, but everything gets uploaded to the cloud.
If you are dealing with lower memory on your phone or something like that, definitely. I mean, hang on to them for, I would say, 30 days, 45 days. Chances are eBay, the people have the option within 30 days, probably 60, maybe even go for 60. Yeah, and then get rid of them after that. So if you're worried about space, but or if you have another device that you can just throw them onto and keep them on there until you have to delete them, I would do that as well. So we don't typically,
if you have an Amazon Prime account, they're free. They do. You can upload photos for free, so you can always have them stored there too. Yeah,
we don't typically delete photos just because we have them and we use them for the blog and that kind of stuff. So we have quite a bit of photos.
But they go onto the cloud. So I had someone offer me my listed price of an item on eBay.
Great.
Yeah, so
that's okay. The listed price is okay. If it maybe, I'm assuming it's a buy now price. Yeah. Because you can list two ways on eBay: either an auction that is going to go up as the time gets closer to the end of the auction, or you have a buy it now price. And if somebody offered you that, great. Unless
it's weird that they offer you the price that they could just buy it. Yeah. So but at the same time, it could just be somebody new to eBay and they don't know how it works. Exactly. So because there are a lot more people on eBay or online platforms on eBay shopping now. So if they do it, as long as they pay and everything's through eBay, it's okay. If they buy it and they don't pay, then I mean, you're not out anything. No. Like, you're not being scammed.
No, the only thing you might have to do is relist the item. If they don't pay for it within a couple of days, you do a non-paying bidder. They get a mark against their name. But it's not a big deal. It's not that big of a deal to take a chance on somebody who has zero feedback and doesn't offer like that. Accept it, take it, and I mean, that's what I would do. I would take it and see if they pay for it, and then just go through the right procedures to get it shipped to them for sure. So yeah, like Melissa said, there's a lot of people jumping on eBay right now. We've sold within, I don't even know, the last 30 days, 60 days, we've sold to people who have had zero feedback, but they buy the item, they pay for the item, and then we ship it out. So I don't discount anybody. There's new people coming into eBay every single day that have to build feedback the same way everybody else does. And, we might be the first one that they're buying from. So I'm happily taking those buyers to buy our stuff for sure.
Yeah. And just as long as you're making sure you're not going outside of eBay, not doing payment out of, eBay or PayPal, then you're still covered and you're still protected. So as long as you're following the right steps. So
for sure.
But yeah, I mean, we just started our kids account and we're working on building the feedback now. So now I kind of see it as the buyer's perspective. So it's, we got to get that feedback up. So, but we need to buy some more items to get it going. So I know people get skeptical on paying with PayPal or eBay. People can be, but I think it's gotten a lot more common, I would say.
Well, PayPal now, there are a lot of companies that accept PayPal. So it's not as back in the day when PayPal started out and they weren't that big. I mean, they're huge now. A lot of companies use PayPal, not just eBay. So for us, PayPal's safe. Now eBay's just recently switched over to
their managed payments, and they offer extra processing too. I can't remember I don't know if it's Google Payments, maybe that they accept now. They offer a couple different payments because they're doing their own payment plan or their own managed payments. Sorry, I had someone. eBay might be able to do research the account better than you. Yep, they can definitely check all that stuff.
Yep.
So, what about eBay buyers talking to you about purchasing at a higher price but offer you to buy an eBay gift card and ship it to them? That's a scam too, right? Yep.
Don't deal with any of that stuff.
And it's a good thing. I didn't listen to them. Yeah, don't ever take that. Don't do an eBay gift card.
Yep. The transaction is on eBay. You're selling something. They have to click on the listing as buying it. And then they pay you through whatever eBay allows them to pay you through it. When eBay says it's safe to ship it, that's when you ship it out. So don't do any of this stuff. Hey, I want to barter this and that and this and that, or give you this. No, it's not. It's too risky. We would not do it. I've never done that before. It's just too risky to get into that stuff because most likely it's a scam.
Yeah. Have you had issues with people buying because of COVID? More people actually have been online.
There's more shoppers.
So, there's actually more shoppers been buying online than than before. So it's been, most resellers have noticed an uptick in sales.
Yeah, like I said, last 30 to 60 days, we've had a couple buyers that had bought with zero feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly okay with it. Like I said, there's nothing wrong. People have to build feedback everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'd rather give people the benefit of the doubt as long as they go through the proper precautions, the payment, whatever payment eBay accepts, they do it. eBay tells me it's safe to ship. I ship it out and get it done. So yeah, I won't discount anything right now. I mean, there's too many people coming into eBay using it that I'd like to give them a good transaction and do it with them for sure.
Yeah. What is your percentage of feedback received as total number of transactions? That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'd have to find that out.
I would say 50% of mine. I don't really push a lot of feedback on mine. We're in the upper fours or upper fives. I don't know exactly for feedback, but I don't leave a lot of feedback myself, just because we have reputable feedback for expensive items. So I don't really push feedback on our own account because it's so high. But I mean, if you're building it, you definitely want, you want to push feedback, buying and selling. You want to reach out to the buyers and the people that you're selling stuff to. You definitely want to reach out as much as you can and ask for positive feedback in the beginning, because that will help you grow quicker.
And because a lot of times when you're first starting out selling, people are going to look at your feedback and say, okay, are they a legit seller? You know, they don't want to be scammed either as a buyer. That's one of the people as buyers are kind of like, I don't want to be scammed.
Yep.
So they're going to look at your feedback. So if you can get that up to, start like as a goal of 10 and then 20 and like really work on getting it to 50 feedback, then, and that could be buying and selling. So you can have both, and that still shows as the number. But you definitely still want some selling in there too. But getting both up, like buying is the fastest way to get feedback up.
For sure.
The sad thing is I found new buyers rarely provide feedback, even when I provide upon payment.
Yeah, it happens, but still it's more of not trying to do anything to you. It's more that they don't know the system. They don't know how to get in and leave feedback.
Right.
And if they're a new buyer, they just don't know how to do it. So that's the only reason they're not doing it. So don't take it personal. Like Melissa said, the best way is to actually start buying some stuff. And then once you get more feedback on your name and you're selling some more expensive stuff, then you can reach out to the buyers and say, hey, I would really appreciate a positive feedback if this transaction was good for you. If not, is there anything that I can do to change it? Anything like that. You send out those messages, and people will most of the time, probably 9 out of 10, they'll jump on and leave you feedback.
Yeah. Will customers still be able to pay with PayPal after eBay changes sellers over to managed payments? I believe so.
Yeah, I think
they're still going to accept PayPal as a payment. You just won't receive payments through PayPal.
Yeah, as managed payments. Yeah.
So the next one was supposed to be people with zero feedback could be fine. So we already talked about that.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that.
Yeah. So what if a buyer says that the item was not delivered to them?
Yeah, definitely. This is where it's important. Some people will ship USPS, and you can ship USPS without a tracking number. You always have to have a tracking number if you're shipping USPS. FedEx and UPS both always have tracking numbers. You want to make sure that you have a tracking number on whatever you're shipping. As long as you have the tracking number, it doesn't matter. As long as the FedEx, UPS, USPS, whatever the carrier you're using shows it was delivered to that address, has nothing to do with you once it's delivered to their door. If the carrier left it on their doorstep and it got stolen off their doorstep, you're free and clear. That's not your problem. Those are out of your hands. You don't have any control of that. So you might have a buyer, which I've had this happen to me before, a buyer say, hey, I never received this item. And I go and check the tracking, and it shows it was delivered to the buyer, on this this date. You're free and clear. You can call, if they open up a case against you, you can call up eBay and say, look, you can clearly see my tracking number shows that it was delivered.
I got it. Your job is to get it delivered.
Exactly.
To them,
you're out of the picture altogether. The buyer has to fight either with eBay or fight with the carriers who really want to fight with.
Yeah, they have to do a shipping claim if that's it.
Exactly.
If they can. Yeah. So.
Exactly. So, and that could be a scam as well. If a buyer tries to say, hey, we never received it, they did receive it, and they're trying to get their money back or whatever the deal is, it could be a scam, but you just know when you have the tracking.
Issue.
Exactly. When you have the tracking and it shows up on their doorstep, and the carrier confirms that, you're free and clear. You're done. You can get eBay to close out the case immediately when you can show the tracking was delivered. So that is definitely something that to make note of for sure. You're not responsible for it.
No. If you had one of your top 3 best practices and information for beginners to give, what would that be? Your top 3 best practices. get started.
Yeah.
get going and build your feedback up. That's a big
Yeah.
one, and that's what we're kind of talking about right now. Like
consistency with the business.
Yeah.
If you want to jump into it, you have to build some consistent routines. Definitely on sourcing, on business practices. Yeah, you definitely want to be consistent with it if you want to do it as a good side hustle or you're in a full-time income. That's what one of the biggest things we can do is people will go to a flea market one week, not find anything, and they're like, yeah, this is no good. You have to build some consistent routines of sourcing on apps, on local venues, thrift stores, flea markets, that kind of stuff, and just give it some time to build it, to hone your skills, get better at what you're doing. So consistency is a huge thing.
And then one of the last ones we want to talk about is what happens if an item's returned damaged or switched.
Yep.
So this is a big one. People are afraid that a buyer is going to return the item and it's not the same item that they sent out.
And somebody in our group, our private group, just recently, this was today, she said something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She got an item back, which I didn't get all the circumstances. Most was reading to me before we jumped on this live. But if an item comes back damaged, and you agreed to take the return, whatever circumstance it is, if it comes back in different condition than you shipped it in, you can call eBay and they'll give you an affidavit to sign and send back to them stating that the item was damaged, and eBay will side with you. Now, I guess the caveat on this is we have high feedback. We have a good selling record on eBay. So I don't know if they're just doing that for me, because I've had this happen within probably the last 2 times, probably 1 time in the last 2 years, that we've had somebody return something for whatever reason it was. One of the items had missing parts, so the people bought it, took some parts off of the item for whatever thing they had, and then they returned it back. Well, when that happened, I called eBay and said, listen, this guy returned it, and he took parts off of it.
And they had already approved the return. This guy had already gotten the return. So.
And I told them that they did that. They said, well, we'll send you this form. You fill out this affidavit saying that it's not in the same condition that you shipped it in, and we'll go ahead and give you the money back. And they backed me. I kept the item, and they took the money back from the guy because he was crooked. It was a fraudulent transaction. So, and the other time, the guy shipped a battery charger back and did not package it properly. He just threw it in a box and figured
no padding at all whatsoever.
Well, he did. He used some padding, but it was already the padding that was shipped from our house to his, and the packaging was no good. So, anyways, he didn't do it properly. It came back. It was beat to heck by the carrier because it wasn't packaged properly. So I called eBay up and I told him, listen, I can't do anything with this. It's beat to heck. Wires are ripped out of it. What am I supposed to do? And eBay said the same thing. They sent me an affidavit, emailed it over. I filled it out, and then I took a picture of it and I sent it back to their link. And they right away they sent me the money back, or got the money back into my account. And then the buyer, I'm assuming, I don't think eBay's eating this money. I think they're pulling it back from the buyer's account, and putting him in the negative because the transaction wasn't handled properly. So definitely you are covered for that. But the caveat, like I said, we have good. For a newbie on eBay, I'm not 100% how much they will back you. I just know we've
Get that feedback up.
Exactly. We've dealt with them for years, and we have great standings with our transactions that, eBay, if we're telling them something, because you got to remember too, they're the middle guy. They're
trying to find who's
exactly.
Right.
They're dealing with the buyer and the seller, and they're trying to mediate between them, and you're getting 2 different stories. So they're not trying to do anything wrong. But at the same time, once you build that feedback, once you build the history that you're a good seller, eBay will back you. They will back the sellers. And years ago they didn't back the sellers. They backed the buyers. They've swapped stuff over now, and they know the sellers are the ones who are keeping their lights on. They're keeping them afloat because that's where all the fees are coming from as a seller. So, but definitely, like I said, they want to back you. It's just new sellers. You have to be careful when you're doing it. Make sure everything is done to the T, like we're talking about. Everything, all your
ducks are in a row.
Exactly. All your transactions are being done to a T, so there's nothing that can come back to you. And yeah, that's the best advice we can give you.
Bo, just come in and make sure we have a picture of the serial number for electronics.
Yes.
And include that in your listing too. Like all numbers and serial numbers and labels should always be in the listing as well. So, but if you have that, and then you can refer back to that if they return something that's a different serial number. So,
you definitely want to have all that. That's the biggest thing about pictures and any describing marks on an item, that if somebody tries to send something back and you know it's not the same item, you want to have pictures or proof of all that as well.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, it's basically your word against theirs on eBay. But if you can show, like, look, this is the item that I sent out, this is the item I received, then they can see that if you have the pictures. Is tracking automatically included by shipping first class versus priority shipping?
I don't know USPS that well, guys. Like I said, the majority of our shipping is UPS and FedEx. I do know that some of it, just make sure you get a tracking number when you're shipping. But I don't know first class and priority. I can't give you the definite on that. A quick Google search will tell you. But yeah, I don't know that well enough to tell you, yeah, that's when you get the tracking. I know you can ship cheaper sometimes without a tracking.
But it's not worth it.
No, it's not. Always do your tracking. You have to have proof that the item was delivered. So if you are doing a lot of USPS, make sure you have a tracking number on it when it's being shipped.
Yeah. I think we're caught up here. So yeah, that was mostly the items that we had to talk about. So because I think that people are nervous to sell on eBay because they don't want to be scammed. Like that's a legit, fear or whatever. But it doesn't have to be. If you can just take these and do them and
precautions, for sure.
Take the precautions and then you're covered.
Yeah.
You might have to take a conversation with eBay or a shipping company here and there. And also one thing to note too, that sometimes if somebody returns something and it's damaged, it's not always a return or a damaged item through eBay. Like it's a shipping claim.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't always do that. Like if the item gets to the buyer and it's damaged because of shipping, it's a shipping claim. It's not your fault. And you're both going to get the money back. The buyer's going to get their money. You're going to get your money, but you have to go through the process of the shipping claim.
And that is, I think, what is one of the deals with, like we were talking about, one of our...
It should have been a shipping claim.
Exactly. Yeah. So you do not have to take a return back if it gets damaged in shipping. Always, always, always make sure you have insurance on your items when you're shipping them. USPS covers up to $50, the first $50. And then you got to pay for the extra. FedEx and UPS, if I'm not mistaken, it's $100. For the first $100, you're covered for free with the shipping. Everything over top of that, you have to pay a little bit extra for that. Always do the shipping, because if a package is lost, if it's damaged, you want to make sure that you're not out that money, because if it's damaged and you don't have insurance on it, you're out. I mean, you're responsible to give it back to the buyer. So always make sure it's packaged properly, and you do the it's packaged properly, and you have insurance on the item for sure. So
a couple people said if the labels are purchased through eBay, first class or priority, you're going to get a tracking.
Sweet.
Or pirate ship too. So
good to know.
Pirate ship is great if you're selling a lot of smalls, and you can get some good deals on pirate ship. So if you ship through them.
Another trick about if an item is damaged in shipping, do not pay for the shipping back to receive the item back. Call the carrier. Make the carrier pick the item up. Tell the carrier that it was damaged. Whatever it is, FedEx, call them up and say, hey, this package was delivered damaged. I need you guys to pick it up and do the damage inspection on it and return it to me. You don't have to pay anything for that service. They'll do it for free. USPS, I don't think they require, USPS is usually a lot cheaper stuff, so I don't think they require a pickup or you don't have to send it back. Usually the person can keep it. They're just sending pictures of the damage. So usually that's how it works for USPS, but I know FedEx and UPS both will pick up the item, do the damage inspection on it, and then return it to you. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to pay for return shipping when something is damaged in shipping. So that's a huge, I didn't know that for a long time, and then I figured it out. It's a very easy procedure to do it. But like I said, you want all your documents of how you package the item, because the buyer might have opened it and thrown away some of the packaging and thrown it back into the box with no padding whatsoever. And then when the carrier gets it, they might look at it and say, hey, you didn't package this properly. That's why it got damaged. So that's where you have to actually say, look, I did package it properly. I have proof. They didn't put all the packaging material back into it. So that's had nothing to do with why it was damaged in the first place. So
does a seller file the shipping claim?
Yes.
Well, in our terms and conditions, we state that it's the buyer's responsibility, but we always do it because it's a courtesy to your buyer. You want to help them. They might not know the whole process, how it works, and it's just easier for us to just take care of it. So.
Yeah, and I think eBay, if that item's damaged anyways, eBay will require you to take care of it. So yeah, the seller does typically do it. That's how we've always done it. I do have like Melissa said, our terms and conditions, they're responsible for it. We still do it, like I said, because all you have to do is call the carrier, tell them to pick it up, do a damage claim return, a damage claim inspection on it, and then they'll return it to you. If you do it all the right way, the proper way, you can have it done fairly quick and get the money back in your pocket pretty quick.
And as long as you're communicating with your buyer, like through this whole process, then the likelihood of you're going to get good feedback back instead, because you're helping them with it. Like if you made them do the whole thing, it might not be as good of an experience for your buyer. So we want them to have a good experience and help them as much as possible. And most people understand if there's a damage, like they understand that you're trying to do the shipping claim, and you'll you're working on it, as long as you keep communication from.
Yeah, for sure.
What is the largest item you shipped?
Shipped probably the Harley sign. We sold a Harley Davidson sign that was roughly 8 foot tall. I think it was 12 foot long and 4 foot wide. We put it on a pallet and we shipped it. Made great money on that bad boy. Over $7,000, like $7,500. So
it took you 2 days to build that.
It did. It took a lot longer than I expected to do it.
It's like, I'll have this done in 2 hours.
Yeah, it took a long time to do it, but we made really good money. Even on the shipping, we made money for our time to create the pallet. So yeah, that's probably by far the biggest that we've done so far. We do pallets and large pallets quite often, but that was actually like
that was a big crate. 3
or 4 pallets put together and the sign on top of it. So it was,
we did it in our front yard, so I'm sure the neighbors love that.
Yeah. That was before a warehouse.
Yeah. Should expensive items only be sent with FedEx or UPS?
No, you can do insurance through USPS if it's small. USPS. I think these, I told you guys we sold last week. I think I shipped these USPS. I sold 2 of them, so I packaged them together side by side, and I just paid for the extra. For shipping insurance. You always want to do that through whatever carrier you're using. So I don't remember. I might have used FedEx, but you can do it no matter what. If it's a small item and you use USPS, then yeah, definitely just make sure it's insured for that.
Yeah, and we did note that we tried to use UPS has a new deal with eBay, and so they're getting some really cheap rates right now.
Yeah, it's a headache.
But they did not have the option to do extra shipping insurance. So, and then we got in touch with eBay, and they said for some reason there's a glitch or whatever, they couldn't get it done. So we ended up not using them. Because even though it was going to be cheaper, because we wanted insurance.
It was the cooktop we shipped out last week. Right. It was a larger box, and UPS was quoting, I think it was $25 cheaper. If I went with UPS, I think it was $55 for it, and I ended up going through FedEx because UPS would not give me the insurance on the box. Never ship anything without insurance, especially a higher dollar item. That was $720. If it got broken, I did not want to be responsible for that. So we ended up having to pay more through FedEx when eBay gets the glitch figured out to allow you to do
insurance.
Yeah,
UPS.
This is a whole new system that eBay's just recently got UPS back in. It used to be like this years ago. You could do it you could create a label through eBay on UPS's website,
and then they took it off.
They went away from it, and everything went from. You couldn't print a label through eBay. You had to actually have an account with UPS and still get eBay's discount, but you still had to have an account with UPS. Anyways,
it was more of a headache.
Exactly. They've integrated it back into eBay, and there's going to be some glitches until it gets figured out. Hopefully within the next month or 2, it gets straightened out to where you can actually do the insurance.
And you are covered for the first $100 of insurance on UPS and FedEx, and then $50 for USPS.
Yeah.
So.
And for me, it was $8 to do $720 on FedEx. I think it was like $8.25.
So it's not expensive to get insurance, and just
well worth it.
Definitely. It does have insurance. FedEx 2-day express has been cheaper lately on small items.
Isn't that crazy? No, it's bigger items too.
Yeah, 85% off. Yeah, we noticed that.
I just shipped something out with it, and every time I look at it, it's just a couple dollars more.
Why is the 2 days
express? It's insane. I've realized that too.
Yeah, I do UPS through shipping easy, free account, commercial discounts. Yeah. If you it's totally doable through a different account. You just didn't like to go on to a separate thing and just thought it was easier for FedEx. So, but it is nice that they've integrated it back into the eBay, so you can do it everything through eBay. It's like it's click, click, click. So once they get it all,
and they're giving you all on one page as your checkout. They're giving you FedEx,
all of them.
UPS, and USPS. So give you the cheapest rate for the item once you put the box, the weight, all that stuff in there. So definitely, they're working with it right now. They're doing a lot of changes on eBay. So just got to give them some time to get the glitches out for sure. Yeah. But always make sure you're protected. Always have insurance on whatever you're shipping for sure.
Yeah. Oh, $100 on insurance for USPS once you're a top seller. Awesome. Yeah. So I think we don't really do a lot of. We probably ship out like 2 things a month, maybe USPS. Yeah, maybe not even that much. No, we don't do it very much.
No, it's way cheaper for us to FedEx and UPS with the boxes.
With the larger stuff. But that's awesome. Yeah, so get to the top seller. Top seller, he does have a couple benefits for sure. And get that feedback up. That's the first part.
Definitely. Feedback, guys, buyers or sellers feedback. You just want to get feedback. So even if you can buy some stuff that you buy on Amazon, it'll take you a little bit longer through eBay. Try to buy a couple things that way. Get them so you can get some feedback under your belt. Build it to, as quick as you can get to 50 or 100 feedback, the better you're going to be off. I mean, it's just going to be a lot better for you when you're selling stuff, because people will look at you and know that you've been on eBay and you have some experience behind you.
Right.
So,
and just think of the stuff that you buy normally. Like I do, like, you know, whatever beauty products or whatever that you might buy, or, you know, look for them on eBay. See, and a lot of times they're cheaper, you know, and they're sealed or whatever. They're new and sealed, and you can still buy them. And a lot of times eBay's cheaper than Amazon. It just takes longer. Usually it takes a couple of days longer.
That's the only difference.
What do you buy, you know, normally that you could go toilet paper, paper towels, whatever it is,
anything,
you know, anything that you would normally buy. And then you can build your feedback up.
Yeah, the cool thing about buying is definitely usually the bigger sales people, I think their feedback's automated. So people that have hundreds of thousands of feedback and you're buying,
they don't have to redo it.
Exactly. They're going to leave you feedback as soon as you pay for it. You got that feedback. So you don't have to worry about hunting them down to get feedback. So that's definitely, you'll get some feedback quick if you buy some stuff that way. But you do want sellers' feedback too. I mean, auction some stuff off, or stuff that you don't really care about what the price goes for. Give some people some good deals that they're going to be super happy about it. You know, get that started and get that feedback for selling too.
It'll help later on.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, big time. So cool. Any other questions?
Lucas said, have you ever had a scam seller on OfferUp? I'm talking to a seller that's offering 2 commercial convection ovens for $150 right now. Scam seller.
Yeah, OfferUp is not as common because you're meeting in person. So if they're offering that on OfferUp and you're going to pick it up, I mean, you verify it before you give them money. If they're offering to ship it, get away from that, because there's no way they're going to ship ovens like that to you. I would steer clear of that. But if it is, give me a little bit more information too, Lucas. If it's somebody local and they're offering, no, that's what we want to buy. We want to find those deals like that. That $150 for 2 of them. Maybe it's because he wasn't able to check them. Maybe he can't guarantee, or he might even be guaranteeing that there's nothing wrong with them, but he never got a chance to check them, or he couldn't check them. So yeah, no, it's not uncommon for that. The scammers you're going to run into OfferUp.
They want to go outside. It's usually a sob story, like, oh, I can't meet you, but my uncle's going to meet you because of all this stuff that just happened, and he's going to wire you money. Or what? Again,
those are
cash
all
in hand.
Exactly.
That's all we do.
When you're doing a transaction on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, any of those, you're meeting hand to hand, I mean, in person, before you hand them money. So there's not a great chance of scammers once you inspect it. You never give them money until you inspect the item. So I'm picking up in person. They're
around an hour away. It doesn't have room to store them. So that's
that's perfectly legit. You don't, I wouldn't question it if it was me. I mean, an hour's a little bit of a trip to go. So if they're communicating with you regularly back and forth, and they're not like, you don't get any red flags. Like if he's telling
you, asking you for money before you go, like he's not going to get any money by you. So.
Definitely. No, I think it could be legit, because those are the kind of buys that I look for. I look for those commercial appliances that, whatever reason, somebody went out of business or somebody got it from a local storage auction and it's too big for them to move, so they might have had it for the last 6 months and can't sell it. Then you're the right one to see it, and he marked down the price. Whatever. There's always circumstances, but no, I don't think you'll. To me, unless you got to have another red flag that is thrown for you, maybe other than just a cheap price, no, that could be perfectly legit, 100%.
Like those prices.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what we look for. We're looking for the people who have to get rid of the items. They don't know how to sell them on eBay or ship them. Those are the items that we want to find for sure and take advantage of.
Somebody mentioned earlier, I can't remember who it was, that they have a money pen that they check the
bills. And
that's
a great practice.
That's a great idea for doing local pickups and doing cash in hand. So it definitely doesn't hurt to do. We don't have one, but it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
So we don't do a ton of local stuff, but we do a fair share. So that's a great idea though. If you're worried about it, concerned, there's nothing wrong. People would be fine. Check it. Yeah, you're good.
And I'm sure you can get it cheap off of eBay.
Yeah,
get a feedback for that pen.
For it. There you go. Hey, let's go. I'm going to do that on the kids' account.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. So definitely, that's a great practice to get into.
There you go.
Cool.
He's been very open in communicating. He got it out of a restaurant and saying he's bringing to a scrapyard tomorrow and he can't sell them. Yeah, that's like exact
100% legit. If that's the case and he's being that honest with you, chances are I would say that no, it's not a scam. It's a legit deal. So I would go for it if I was you.
Yeah. Picked a 4Runner running boards for $15. Guy was moving, sold in about a week for $220. I was worried what I was getting, but they were like new off of 2020.
Nice.
You can find some great deals, and people
there's deals everywhere.
So many people want to get rid of stuff. Like, they're decluttering their house. They just want stuff gone, so they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to question a cheap price always. The great thing about in person is you can inspect it, and if it's not what you think, then
walk away.
You don't have to go through with the
That's right.
transaction. So
walk away from it.
Yeah. So
it's not that hard to do it. So for sure.
Yeah. I think we're caught up. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for hopping on here.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, we love doing this. Yeah. So we'll definitely let us know if you have any questions, anything you want us to discuss on the next call. Yeah, that's what we're here to try and talk this stuff through, get you guys a little bit more comfortable with flipping. Melissa and I love doing this. We're in it every day. I mean, we tell you the stuff that we're selling as well. So yeah, you guys have a good idea.
Yeah, I gotta get some stuff shipped out now.
That's it.
So package some stuff. You guys are awesome.
All right, you guys rock. Have a great night, a great week. Get out there, get some stuff bought or sold, whatever you got to do. Get out there and
get your feedback up.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You guys, good night.
See ya.
Bye.